The Inmotion V9 earns its title as the lightest suspension electric unicycle, a smooth, friendly wheel that promises comfort, ease of riding, and even GPS tracking. But before you press that buy button, here's a couple things, a few positive and a few worth pausing for that you need to know. We'll break down the good, the bad, my favorite features, and whether this wheel is actually worth your money. Welcome to My Electric Ride. I'm Braden, and I'm here to upgrade your lifestyle with the best personal electric vehicles. And today, we are reviewing the Inmotion V9. Let's kick off with where the V9 shines. At about 50 pounds or 23 kilograms, this is Inmotion's lightest EUC with suspension in their entire lineup, making it easier to get that premium ride without having to lug around this incredibly heavy machine. And on that suspension, this is air suspension, which has got 60 millimeters or about 2.4 inches of vertical height that it can go up and down on to be able to smooth out your ride. So definitely the ride over the bumps and whatnot are a lot smoother, but you can even take this to stairs and perform just great. Now this one has an impressive 28 miles per hour top speed and around 37 miles for your maximum range on one single charge. Which brings me to one of the best features in the Inmotion V9, and that is its quick charging. For so long, I have been used to practically waiting 6 to 8 hours at times to be able to charge my EUC all the way up to 100%. Until now, anything that had a higher range than about 20 miles was gonna take well over 4 hours, but more like 6 to 8. But with a max range of 37 miles, this thing can charge within 5 hours, or if you have a 16A fast charger, it can do it in 1. And speaking of charging, that kind of leads into some of the other cooler features that I personally really love. Let's start with the charging ports. This one actually kind of works as a portable battery for your phone because it's got USB-A and USB-C charging ports to be able to charge your phone on. On top of that, you've got a bright headlight that does plenty, and it's actually adjustable to where you can point up a little bit more to get more light, or you can kind of focus it stronger beam down. It has automated brake lights whenever you start to slow down, and automated turn signals on it whenever it can sense that you're leaning a certain way. These are just small features that kind of help give you an extra sense of security whenever you're riding on the roads, especially at night, that you just know that the vehicles behind you are getting an indication of where you are. In general, I feel a lot safer on this thing at night as opposed to something like a bicycle, even if I had reflectors and everything else. One other point to make on this EUC that's very unique to this one is it actually has a feature that's called Ride Connect. And I'll be frank with you, I've only researched this more recently, but it looks like we've got some cooler features in the way of you can do remote GPS tracking through the Inmotion app. So rather than do something like I've done where I sneak an AirTag to be able to keep track of my EUC, this has built-in GPS tracking so I can leave this thing around and not worry that somebody's gonna pick this up and steal it. On top of that, it's even got a lock inside of it so that if somebody were to steal it, they couldn't turn it on and easily roll it away. And before we finish off with the good, I wanna say that this thing has the solid waterproofing of IPX6, so you're good to be able to ride in light rain and damp environments. And on top of that, it has a wide 16 by 3 inch tire that is tubeless, which according to my research, this is gonna help just create a safer ride. There have been some problems with it, I won't go into detail, but the tubeless tire is definitely an improvement. But let's keep it real. You gotta also know that whenever you're getting all these great features, there's gonna be a few pieces that may fall short for you and your goals. And let's start with the price point. The price point lands in a little bit of a middle ground because it's not cheap enough to be entry level, but it's not expensive enough to give you those monster EUC experiences that you'll see with the 40+ mile per hour vehicles. As a middle ground, I think this performs great, but I know that a lot of people who really get committed to this kind of thing may find that this is underperforming. Let's talk speed. Yes, 28 miles per hour is very good. However, the acceleration is not necessarily jaw-dropping, so you may end up finding that you're trying to just speed right on past, but you kind of gotta let it catch up with you a little bit. Not been a huge problem for me, especially I'm not a huge speed demon, but again, if you're looking to be able to get a monster ride out of this, it may be a little limited for your standards. The other piece that I want to point out is that the range is not necessarily set in stone. So there's 37 miles of range, but this always depends on the rider themselves, the speed that you're going, the terrain that you're riding it on, and just generally how heavy are you. So although you'll get 37 miles of range on your poster boards, it may be that for you, depending on where you're riding, you may find that that falls into the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. On top of that, I think it's important to share this with you guys that EUCs, a lot of the time, they have built-in restraints on your top speed. That whenever you are lower on battery, it's naturally going to pull your top speed a little bit further down. And I'll be honest with you guys, I wasn't aware of this fact because all of the other EUCs I've ridden have not had a built-in screen, which is a great feature on the V9. But it meant that only now did I realize that sometimes when I think I'm hitting the top speed, it's actually a couple miles lower if you've got a low battery. It's a safety feature and it makes sense, but it's important for you to know that in advance, because otherwise you might think that this thing is underperforming, when in reality it's just that you have low battery and you need to charge it. Now here are the standout features of the Inmotion V9 that I love. It has an elegant and compact design because despite having all of the tech inside of this, it's got GPS tracking, it's got really good air suspension, and it's got all this speed. It still maintains that slim kind of feature, which is so nice for being able to put into your car. I'm not having to be able to lug around something super heavy. It's feature rich without a lot of the fuss. You don't get this thing and start going, oh shoot, I wish I could make some mods or something like that to be able to improve it. Genuinely, from right out of the box, you've got everything that you could want, from the headlights to the speakers to your suspension, and finally, that combination of the GPS tracking, Ride Connect, and the UL certified battery, which is actually a new thing that's just guaranteeing that this EUC is going to be safe and the battery is not going to suddenly go crazy on you. All that wrapped up in the anti-spin feature. There's just a lot of features on this EUC that were built for the rider's peace and calm of mind. So here's my honest take. The Inmotion V9 is not one of those crazy monster kind of rides for that speed junkie that's just ready to go, but it's probably the safest beginner to intermediate EUC that provides safety as well as cool extra features such as suspension that allow you, as you get that skill and grow, you're able to also have the features that support you within that. If you're just starting out and you want something reliable without the intimidation, then the V9 might be ideal. And as always, if the price point is a little bit high for you, I'm gonna attach my discount code and link in the description below, and you can use that to get $50 off of your next purchase. So what do you think? Does the V9 give the right blend of comfort, safety, and tech? Or does it fit in some sort of weird middle ground that's a little bit tricky to be able to satisfy most riders? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to be able to hear from both you new and seasoned riders. And if this review helped you make sense of the Inmotion V9, then give it a thumbs up so more viewers can find it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button where I'll be doing my next review on the Inmotion V12 Pro to see how a heavier vehicle stacks up on power and control. See you next time.